Listen, I think that City Council's got a pretty big decision to make this upcoming week. How and when we elect our local officials is a really big deal. And so this conversation about moving our city elections to November is something that I know is being considered very closely by my colleagues and I. There's pros and cons, I think, to this potential move, and it'll be interesting to see where this lands.
All right. So are you more in favor or against this move?
I'd tell you that I'm undecided at this point. I'm still looking at the data in terms of will this really increase voter participation? But there's also other factors to consider as well. And one of the biggest here is I think the fact that if we were to agree to this move, the mayor and council would be giving ourselves an extra 6 months in office. And I'm not sure that's been reported widely enough. In my opinion, the voters went to the polls and they elected each of us for 4 years. They did not elect us for 4.5 years. They did not elect us to go through the budget process in the fall of 2029. Our terms were to end in May of 2029. And so I do have an issue here with council unilaterally giving ourselves 6 months additional time in office when the voters haven't had an opportunity to weigh in. So that's one of the issues to me. The other, of course, is sort of hand in hand with that lack of community input. You know, some of these other cities that have made the move have taken it to their voters first. They've had time to discuss the issue of moving the elections with their community, and we really haven't had that here.
All right. There is the mayor has mentioned that if we do wait, we would have to vote again in the upcoming, I believe it is uh, the next legislative session to allow us to change in the future. She says that that's difficult to do. What are your thoughts on that? Do you think it's worth it though? Again, you're still undecided, but do you think it's worth it to maybe try to get that vote later?
Yeah, well, if you heard what was said by city staff at the B session this last week, in 11 out of the last 17 legislative sessions, the legislature has agreed to move this deadline so that cities can move their local elections, right? So in well more than 50% of the past legislative sessions, the legislature has agreed to this. And that's why I said I don't think there's any gun to our head at this point to do this next week. We could take the next year and a half or so to discuss this with the community, perhaps even have a local vote of our citizens to see if they're in favor of this, and then make this decision at the end of 2027. That's a very viable path for us here, and one that I think we should really consider.
All right. And then there's the discussion of saving money and turnout. Are you in favor? Do you agree with these, the city manager talking about up to $1 million? I know the Express News said he walked it back, but I reached out to the manager's office and they said that no, he didn't. It just depended on how many people were on the ballot. That's how much money you save.
Yeah.
Are you still though? Do you still agree with these with the mayor citing these professors and also the city manager's report? Do you agree with these projections?
I think that it's certainly possible that we could save some city money, and I think that it's possible that turnout could increase by a little bit if we move the elections to November. How much the savings would be and how much the turnout would increase, I don't think anybody knows, but I do think it would be on the smaller side. But look, any increased savings and any increased turnout is, of course, a good thing. I'm glad the mayor brought this up and we're having the discussion about it. I'm just not sure that the timing to do this um, is now. We also have to say that, listen, while the city may save a few dollars, the taxpayers are still going to be paying the same, right? Because we've got our school district elections that are still scheduled to take place in May, and of course we all pay for that as well. This also may have a negative impact on our school districts because if they're left all by themselves to pay for the May elections, as we heard from folks this past week associated with these school boards, that could have a very detrimental effect on our schools. So these are all factors that we need to take into consideration when we vote this week.
Got it. And can you move a little bit to your left? It's not bad, just a little bit to, there you go, like that. And then lastly, like you mentioned, you don't think that there should be as much of a rush. You know, what have you heard from voters so far? Because that's very important to you, from what I'm understanding.
Yeah, I've heard very mixed opinions on this, but there's also a lot of confusion out there. When people are hearing move to November, they're thinking a lot about moving to November in even numbered years. And of course, that's not the proposal. The proposal here is to move the election to odd number years. And that's exactly why we need more than just 3 weeks to discuss this with the community. I mean, this is something where I really think each council member should hold town hall meetings within their districts to talk about it. We've been doing everything we can to get feedback. At my Christmas gathering this past week, I was asking residents. I had a boards and commissions meeting where I was asking those folks as well. We're getting some calls into our office where we're getting feedback. But 3 weeks is not a lot of time to make a big decision like this.
All right. Could you share some of that feedback though, generally, what they told you?
Yeah, well, some of it's been confusion about which November we've been talking about, even or odd numbered years. Some people have called in and said, hey, they think it's a good idea for November, but there's a lot of municipal voters that have called us and said, no, we like it in May. There's the sole focus of the May elections is our local leadership, and they like that, right? I think elections in May also bring out voters that are, again, very, very focused on policies and issues that are solely of a local level. And so people like that as well. So, the opinions have been mixed, certainly. And I think the discussion should continue.